Welcome to the Habits of Health Power Half Hour, where we go through Dr. A's Habits of Health one section at a time so that you can create a powerful knowledge base that will equip you for your journey into optimal health and lifelong well-being. My name is Cassondra Reagan, and I am an independent Optavia coach. Today, we finish up section 2.5 by discussing how to shop for healthy fats, and we'll touch on the importance of fiber, gut microorganisms, and water intake. So let's jump right in. If you lived through the diet culture of the 1990s, you may have an internal programming that just tells you that fat is bad and that if you want to lose weight, you must avoid fat. However, eating the right type of fats in the right amount has a dramatic impact on your health and is an important component of our healthy eating strategy. So, healthy fats, they are so important to biological and metabolic processes, as well as keeping your gallbladder healthy. When you don't get enough healthy fats, your gallbladder will get sick. So the USDA suggests that fat should make up 25 to 30% of your daily caloric intake, with only 7% or less of that coming from saturated fats. So saturated fats are like the animal fats. However, the typical Western diet that we know consists of about 34% of fat, and almost all of it is from saturated animal-based fat. So the big confusion for most of us are, what are the unhealthy fats and what are the healthy fats? Okay, well, I want you to remember these letters, SHPH, for saturated fats, hydrogenated fats, and partially hydrogenated fats. These are the big three bad fats, okay? The ones we really want to stay away from as much as possible. So saturated fats are mostly derived from animals and occur in high levels in foods such as hot dogs, hamburgers, bacon, and fatty meats, leading to a 20% increase in death. So think of the fats that are solid at room temperature. There are some saturated fats such as coconut oil that are better options. But remember, we want to keep this number to 7% of our fat intake or less. Hydrogenated fats, also known as trans fats, these are the ones that we've kind of created in a lab, and they are found in most processed foods. Why? Why does the food industry use certain things? Because it's cheaper for them, and they are used to extend shelf life. So hydrogenated fats are directly linked to heart attack, stroke, and they have been found to oxidize the brain. So that accelerates memory loss and cognitive function. In fact, they pose such a health hazard that progress has actually been made to ban hydrogenated fats entirely. And finally, partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. These fats were born in that low fat, low cholesterol craze of the 1980s and the 1990s. When saturated fats were found to contribute to heart disease and stroke, they recognized polyunsaturated fats were healthier than saturated fats. But polyunsaturated fats spoiled more easily, so food scientists devised ways to take them. What do? They take them, they alter them to make them more shelf stable by heating them super hot, and that alters their chemical makeup. This was the invention of partially hydrogenated vegetable oils derived from corn, soybean, and even cottonseed oils. So these other so-called trans fats were unsaturated. So we thought, oh, they're not saturated, so they must be good. These had no cholesterol. Oh, it must be good, no cholesterol. But even though they were thought to be healthier than, say, butter, in the end, we discovered they are actually more dangerous and incredibly inflammatory, causing oxidative stress and radical formation. And that's the bedrock of chronic disease and even cancer. So how do we navigate nutrition with these bad fats floating around? As a general rule, you want to completely avoid hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. And that will be difficult if you still consume most commercially processed foods, like say cookies, cakes, chips, and any baked goods that are commercially produced, like crackers, breads, etc. Remember that the food industry uses the trans fats because they're cheaper and they extend the shelf life of products. So, of course, that means the restaurant and fast food industry will use these fats as well for that exact same reason. So, the restaurant industry typically uses the worst kinds of oils for frying and preparing their foods. And the reality is, if we're becoming a person of health, we're trying to avoid fried foods anyway. So, unless you go, so that's the hydrogenated. Now, unless you go to a complete pescatarian lifestyle, that's just straight up just fish, right? And to avoid saturated fat, avoiding a saturated fat completely will be difficult unless you go to that pescatarian lifestyle, because red meat has saturated fat. Pork has some saturated fat. Even poultry has some saturated fat. Just remember, we want to keep that to about 7% of your daily intake. Eating red meat, like I said, pork and dark meat poultry will easily get you to that daily allowance of 7% of saturated fat. Okay, so now that's the really bad fats. Now let's talk about healthy fats on this other spectrum. In Dr. A's healthy eating system, what we are going to shoot for is 20 to 25%. Now, I know the USDA said 25 to 30%, but we're going to shoot for a little bit lower of our daily calories from healthy fat. And it's mostly going to be through mono and poly unsaturated fats, like those found in olive oil, canola oil, and flaxseed oils. You also consume small amounts of fat through fish, white poultry, and healthy lean and wild meat. So, what are these healthy fats? Well, healthy fats are what scientists call essential fatty acids, or you may have heard them as omega fats. They are incredible foods that have very specific and helpful roles in weight management. They actually turn off insulin. Now, you all should know by now that high levels of insulin turns on fat storage, right? So these omegas actually turn off insulin. They offload healthy triglycerides from your fat cells. They increase metabolism. They protect your muscle membranes, and they protect your brain from memory loss. Just don't forget, this is important, all fats and oils are calorie dense, with about 120 calories in just 1 tablespoon. So we use these fats very strategically, and for phase 1, weight loss, we need to keep our energy intake, or in other words, our calories, lower than stay at a maintenance level. So that's why when we are adding in our healthy fats, we will know how many and exactly how much that we are consuming. Okay, so let's talk about these omegas. What are the differences in all the omega oils and fats? There's 3. Let's talk about one, omega-3. You guys, this is the king of healthy fats. They have profound effect on your waistline, on your muscles, your brain, and they will be critical in your move toward optimal health. Daily consumption of omega-3 fatty acids can actually, listen to this, decrease your anxiety levels by 20% and promote a decrease in your inflammation. You guys, I take fish oil every day, omega-3, okay? The goal, though, is to get the right amount. So here are their sources: fish, liquid flaxseed oil, and walnuts. Those are good sources. Now, the second omega is omega-6. This is a healthy fat if it is consumed in a ratio of 1-to-1 with omega-3s, okay? You want to consume them with omega-3s, and it has to be in a ratio of 1-to-1. How you would even possibly know what your ratio is, I have no idea. Unfortunately, for the most part, our consumption of omega-6 far outweighs our omega-3 intake, mostly because our society doesn't really eat, our Western society doesn't eat a lot of fish. So the ability to make seed and vegetable oils, it's just so much easier for the food industry. So they are easier to produce and cheaper. which is why we as a society consume way more omega-6 than we do of omega-3. So most vegetable oils like soybean, corn, sunflower, and safflower oil, they contain heavy concentrations of omega-6. And what we've discovered is that these oils can be highly inflammatory to your body if they are not consumed in the correct ratio. So increasing your omega-3s can help restore this balance, but also reducing your consumption of omega-6s is probably a really good idea. So I pretty much just use olive oil, avocado oil. Occasionally for my saturated fat, I may use some coconut oil. I made the mistake because I knew it was an omega-6. I bought some sunflower oil to cook with, and within a week, all my joints got swollen. They hurt. I stopped it when I realized that sunflower oil is incredibly inflammatory. It took months for that to work itself out of my system. So now I stay away from it. Okay. And then finally, omega-9s are another very healthy fat found in olive oil, avocados, and nuts. Olive oil is an ideal way to get enough omega-9. So you can use it for sauteing on low heat or add to cooked foods. Just remember, olive oil has a low smoke point. So overheating a healthy oil then can turn it into a toxic oil. So avocado oil is a better option for higher heat cooking. Just think about it. The food industry took polyunsaturated fats, heated them to a high point to change their chemical makeup. If you take olive oil and you get it too hot, you're changing its chemical makeup and you're creating a toxic oil. So just if you're going to use olive oil, lower heat or no heat at all. So finally, let's talk about some important additions to your overall diet. Fiber. Okay. The really cool thing, if you are on our prepackaged fueling system, 5-in-1, 4-in-2, each fueling has about 5 grams of fiber. Now, when talking about fiber, there are two kinds. There's soluble fiber. Soluble dissolves in water. That's why it's called soluble, right? And it has incredible benefits to your body. It slows down the breakdown of carbohydrates. It actually makes food have a lower glycemic index, and it helps to reduce blood sugar. Eaten in high enough quantities, it can then actually lower your cholesterol. Good sources of soluble fiber are grains such as rye, barley, oats, vegetables, fruits, and legumes. Okay, the other type of fiber is insoluble fiber, obviously does not dissolve in water, and it's not absorbed or digested by your body, but it actually reduces hunger, keeps your gastrointestinal tract clean. In fact, at least 25 grams of insoluble fiber per day can help prevent colon cancer. So sources of insoluble fiber are brown rice, whole wheat bread and cereals, seeds, because it's just cleaning everything out, right? Fruit, vegetables, and legumes. Okay, now, since we're already talking about our digestive tract, let's talk about our gut health. Our digestive tract is critical for our overall health. The gut microbiome is made up of over 1 trillion microorganisms, and it's completely responsible for protecting and maintaining our intestinal lining. The highly processed diet of Western world, all that processed food, fast food, it's actually caused our gut flora to suffer, and that's led to weight gain, inflammation, and a poor digestion of nutrients. And of course, we all know this leads to a myriad of chronic illnesses. So what can we do to promote gut health? Well, number one, we start by adding probiotics. Probiotics. This is actually live bacteria found in certain foods and supplements. Our prepackaged fuelings have probiotics. Yogurt, there's some yogurts that they add probiotics to, okay? So we want to add the healthy flora, the healthy bacteria into our system. The second is to consume more prebiotics, okay? Prebiotics come from rich fiber sources we mentioned previously. They act as food for the microorganisms. So probiotics are the microorganisms. Prebiotics are the types of foods that actually feed the healthy microorganisms so they can flourish. And then finally, we are going to consume polyphenolic compounds that comes from fruit and vegetables. Okay, These slow the growth of the bad organisms that try to overrun our gut. So we want to promote the good flora and we want to inhibit the bad flora. So great sources for polyphenolic compounds, the foods that slow the bad growth, are curcumin, turmeric, curcumin, fermented products like kimchi, sauerkraut, tempeh, kefir, and yogurt. Okay, those are all fermented and it actually slows the growth of the bad bacteria. And finally, let's talk about water. Water plays a key role in weight loss by removing the toxins and other unhealthy substances inside of your fat cells. It's a solvent that moves nutrients, hormones, and antibodies and oxygen through your bloodstream, and it removes waste. It's essential for your kidneys to filter and eliminate all the metabolic waste products. So you're burning fat, you're breaking down muscle, building back muscle. All of this has waste products. Your water will filter it out. If you don't drink enough, your body is forced to recycle that dirty water, and that actually diminishes the efficiency of every metabolic function. So your body actually doesn't work as well. We lose nearly 12 cups of water every single day. 2 through perspiration, 6 cups through urine, 2 to 4 through just breathing, and nearly 1 cup through the soles of our feet. So during weight loss, water helps to keep you full and satisfied. It keeps you from overeating. It prevents dehydration as your body is going to flush out that salt from all that processed food. Water minimizes your fatigue, increases your energy, decreases headaches and foggy thinking. It actually speeds up your metabolism. It helps your liver to convert fat to energy, and it compensates for the loss of glycogen stores as you lose weight. So we know that as glycogen breaks down in your organs and in your liver and your muscle, that it helps flush that excess water out. Water flushes the excess water out. So now the question that everybody always asks, how much water should I be drinking? You guys, I have read this book front to back multiple times, and it only ever says 64 ounces of water. It recommends that you drink 8 glasses of water each and every day. And this is your guide unless you have some specific medical condition, such as renal failure or severe congestive heart failure, where you shouldn't be drinking that much water. Or if you've recently performed intense physical activity in hot weather, in which case you should actually drink more water with electrolytes in it, because you are flushing out all of your potassium, magnesium, sodium, all those things. I would like to add to the water talk that especially the first week of your weight loss journey, as you are drinking all this extra water, your body is also breaking down that glycogen, if you will remember. And when that glycogen breaks down, part of its byproduct is also water. So suddenly your water leaving your body is not just the water you've consumed, but also the water from that glycogen molecule breakdown, which means there's even more water exiting your body, which really strips you of all of your sodium, potassium, magnesium, all of your electrolytes. So often in the first week of our journey, the headaches, the fatigue, the irritability, you can feel like you are hypoglycemic. These are all actual symptoms of electrolyte depletion. So if you're drinking more than 64 ounces a day, the more likely you will have those more severe symptoms, because you're flushing all of your necessary electrolytes out of your body, in addition to the water that's leaving because of the glycogen breakdown. So that is it for today, everyone. We just finished section 2.5. Next time, we will continue on with section 2.6. And if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and share this video with all your friends and family who need greater health in their lives. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time.